the explanation of greatness. Take it away. You are informed and edified. I want to crack your cranium and fertilize your brain.
Hey, what's up, Hawks? It's your boy Lion Hawk here, back with another video. Today is the third episode of Hawk and, the series where we take a look at gaming and music. You may say it's pop culture, but wait, then I'll just say Sonic Adventure 2, the sequel to the beloved Sonic Adventure, and Sonic's final mainline series game to be exclusive on a Sega console. Developed by the people over at Sonic Team USA, the game marked the end of an era in the Sonic series, one I like to call the exclusive era. The big hitters that are only on Sega's consoles. There is a reason why Sega's consoles ventures ended, and I don't want to write about it, so watch the videos on the Gaming Historians channel about Sega. It's not sponsored, I just wanted to provide a link or a channel if you would like to learn about it. The game started to be worked on after Sonic Adventure, and it took 18 months to complete the game. In between that time frame, Sega released Sonic Shuffle, a Mario Party-like spin-off. The game was influenced by San Francisco and
Yosemite National Park and other landmarks.
Sonic Adventure was based off the modern city life with Station Square, so it was natural that the sequel was going to follow in the same direction, but with more of a direct influence. The game's developers had more experience with the Dreamcast.
So Sonic Adventure 2 was going to be an improvement in all areas from the original Sonic Adventure.
As Naka said, tap the full power of a console and deliver a much better experience to the users. And Naka, full name Yuji Naka, is the producer of Sonic Adventure 2. And the director of Sonic Adventure 2 it's on screen,
Takashi Iizuka.
The game was re-released on the GameCube as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in 2002 and re-released on Xbox Live, PSN, and Steam as a downloadable game in October 2012, just like its older brother. The game received positive reviews at the time of release, but it's still enjoyable. I remember playing this game on the GameCube a lot, especially the multiplayer, but it's still enjoyable. In this episode, we'll find out if Sonic Adventure 2 is a crash, a smash, and you know the rest. To learn more about the development, like always, citations in the description below. The story in Sonic Adventure 2 is based off three sides: the hero, the dark, and final story. The hero story includes Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and Amy as a side character. The dark story includes Shadow, Rouge, and Eggman. The final story is locked until you completed both stories, and includes all the main characters and the conclusion to the story. You can choose the hero story or the dark story first, but in the context of the story, picking the dark story would be the way to go. But I know we all, or at least most of us, chose the hero side first. Sonic was there, so I guess it was just the initial reaction. The plot starts with Eggman learning about a diary from his late grandpa, Professor Gerald Robotnik, which detailed a secret weapon. He infiltrates a high security gun facility and uses
Chaos Emerald to revive it.
Shadow, a black hedgehog, appears, claiming that he's the ultimate life form.
My name is Shadow. Since you were so kind to release me, my master, the true power I possess,
and offers Eggman to conquer the world, telling him to arrange an appointment at an abandoned space colony Ark with more Chaos Emeralds. Shadow leaves his central city, finding Gun's forces after he stole an emerald. He remembers Maria because he vowed to fulfill a promise interpreted to him as revenge, because Maria died at the Ark at the hands of Gun. Shadow smashes through military force and beats Sonic.
it all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
Where do you think you're going with that energy?
After a legendary confrontation, Shadow leaves the emerald and Sonic is left at the scene, perceived as the culprit. Somewhere else, Knuckles finds Rouge and Eggman, who tried to steal the Master Emerald, but Knuckles tries to save it.
Kobe!
But the emerald breaks, leaving the emerald shattered throughout the world, or something like that. Rouge is with Eggman, but she's an undercover spy for the government, so she really isn't with Eggman, she's just being sneaky with it. Rouge leaves to Eggman's base and Arc, where Shadow finds Eggman and the Eclipse Cannon, another epic weapon developed by Gerald,
and discloses his plan to charge the cannon with the Chaos Emeralds and to use it to take over the world. Rouge is there with an emerald because she wants to seem trustful.
That sneaky bastard. Tails and Amy infiltrate Gun's island base and rescue Sonic, now without encounters with Eggman.
Shadow and Rouge, while the latter three collect 3 emeralds that are on the island.
Eggman makes a global broadcast threatening to destroy Earth in 24 hours if his demands are not made on time. Using the moon as an example by destroying half of it. Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles use the Chaos Emerald they collected to track the other 6, and through Tails, because he's a pretty smart guy if you think about technology-driven fox. They infiltrate Eggman's base, boarding the shuttle before it launches into space. And this is where the spoilers start, so if you can go to this point on the screen right now, if you haven't played the game and want the joy of playing Sonic Adventure 2 on a clean slate. Knuckles' Master Emerald shards spill somehow on the way to the Ark and leaves to collect it. He meets Rouge on his mission and fights her again, but saves her because she was about to fall into a lava pit. She gives up and gives the shards to Knuckles, which restores the Master Emerald. Tails reveals on the Ark that he designed a counterfeit Chaos Emerald so the Eclipse Cannon could be destroyed. Sonic was about to use it when Eggman tells Sonic that he captured Amy and Tails, forcing him to return and rescue them, quote unquote rescue them. Sonic tries tricking Eggman about the fake emerald, but Eggman caught him in the middle and drops him in an escape pod, which has explosives installed. Sonic drops into the atmosphere of Earth and Tails becomes pissed off. He thinks that Sonic is dead, so by the might of Tails, he defeats Eggman. And while that happens, Sonic uses the power of the fake emerald and transports to where Knuckles is. So, this is off script, but how did he use the fake emerald? It's fake, so how is there chaos control in the emerald? Doesn't make any sense, right? Like, the original emerald, like the actual emeralds have chaos control, and Shadow has the ability to use chaos control, but how did Sonic learn chaos control? It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, Sonic runs to the cannon where he meets Shadow.
Just looking like me. What are you anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure.
But Sonic defeats him and he destroys the cannon.
Eggman
Sneaks away from Tails and Amy with the last emerald and arms the Eclipse Cannon. And when he tries to go to Plan B, in which he tries to fire the cannon, the colony starts falling in a pre-recorded message from Gerald broadcasts.
Up yet?
it's all over for us.
What do you mean?
It's Doomsday. Gerald programmed the Ark to collide with Earth if the emeralds were used, destroying in revenge for the government and condemning his research and killing his colleagues.
Even his granddaughter,
Maria. Everyone doesn't want to die, so they perform the action of teamwork, working in union to stop Cannon's core and the collision of Ark and Earth. Except Shadow, he's not interested at first, but somehow Amy jogs his memory into thinking that Maria's real request for him was to help mankind. Amy is most likely lying, because there's no way that is what Maria wanted. How does she know? Was Amy there when Maria died?
buddy, I'm not sure if she was there, but how do you know she was?
At least Shadow believes it now, so he catches up with Sonic and Knuckles as they encounter the Bio-Lizard, the prototype ultimate life form. Shadow offers to force it off so Knuckles can deactivate the Chaos Emeralds with the Master Emerald. Bio-Lizard uses Chaos Control to fuse with the cannon, becoming the final hazard,
which fuels Ark's collision course towards Earth. Sonic and Shadow use the Emerald to transform into Super Sonic and Super Shadow respectively, to defeat the almighty final hazard. Once they defeated Final Hazard, they used Chaos Control to teleport the Arc back into the stable orbit, which unfortunately defeats Shadow's energy because he is not as strong
as Sonic, and he plummets into the earth, fine with the fact that he isn't cool as Sonic, and which in return fulfills Maria's promise. To Maria. The people on Earth celebrate not facing the fate of dying as the heroes of the day return home, and Sonic performs a farewell to Shadow the Hedgehog. The story is dark, but not in the Sonic Forces way, where the characters and the scenery do not match. The story balances the theme of death and chaos with the elements of anthropomorphic characters to make it an enjoyable experience for new and returning players. The story itself is pretty silly at points, like how did Gun and Amy mistake Sonic for Shadow? Sonic is blue and Shadow is black. And how did Amy mess up that badly? It doesn't make any logical sense. And again, the cameras clearly depict a black hedgehog, not a blue hedgehog. And how did Amy convince Shadow so easily? I guess the plot isn't made to be an epic, so I will spare Sonic Adventure 2 story from receiving any further critique. The people voice acting the characters do the job as well, despite points of bad mixing. At least it's not corny as later titles, and not as ridiculous or anything in that ballpark. Why?
Sonic Adventure 2's gameplay is based off 3 distinct gameplay styles: traditional, fast-paced platforming for Sonic and Shadow, third-person, Gamma-inspired shoot-'em-up gameplay for Tails and Eggman, and treasure hunting with Knuckles and Rouge.
Sonic and Shadow are my favorite gameplay style because it's classic 3D platforming. It's top-tier levels, design, and function. My favorite levels for Sonic include City Escape, Metal Harbor, Green Forest, Final Rush, and actually, I think all Sonic's levels are enjoyable to a certain extent, same with Shadow, because they all deliver the action and fun needed in a Sonic game. Levels like City Escape are memorable because of the introduction. Sonic starts off by grinding down the hills of San Francisco, and then in the ending, when Sonic is being chased by a gun vehicle, and when Big the Cat is in the background watching you, it's the ultimate Sonic adventure. Tails and Eggman levels are decent. They're not as action based, they're not as thrill riding, and most levels they're featured in are sometimes long, heavy, and slow. The reason being is that Tails and Eggman are confined into mechs. They can fly short distances, hover, and shoot enemies. And I read on Sonic Retro that Tails wasn't supposed to be playable in Sonic Adventure 2, but if that's the case, then Tails was probably thrown in a mech because the game was already very deep into development. For Eggman it makes sense, he can carry Gamma's legacy since he's not in the game in the context of the story, and Eggman is an animal if you haven't noticed. Gamma's gameplay wasn't that great, but it was relatively enjoyable, but Tails and Eggman can never interpolate the masterpiece that was Gamma. And if you think about it, Eggman and Tails could have raced. If you guys remember, Tails raced Eggman in his final level in Sonic Adventure, so if it was fleshed out, then maybe Tails could have had a mech, but made faster, and just keep this. Tails and Eggman's levels aren't bad, but they're not great. It's clearly a mixed stuff. My favorite level from Tails is Route 101. I meant Prison Lane. My favorite level from Eggman is Cosmic Wall. The treasure hunting levels are the worst because searching for emeralds is no longer fun. Treasure hunting is still open. You can search long and wide, but you must collect specific emeralds that the game wants you to. The emeralds are also mixed around every time you restart the level, like Sonic Adventure, but when you have to collect one emerald at the time, the levels go from 5 minutes to an hour. And I want to say the first time I finished Rouge's level, it took me 1 hour, and I was a little child, so you'll be spending hours on the space theme levels. The first levels of Knuckles and Rouge are relatively easy, but by the end of the Hero and Dark story, you'll be wishing that the treasure hunting levels would end. Sonic Adventure 2 has the same health system and the same upgrade system. You collect 100 rings, you earn a life. You get hit, you lose rings, and you have 0 rings. And if you have 0 rings and you get hit without rings, you die. The upgrade system where you get power-ups to increase abilities. For example, Sonic can collect an ability to dash through rings. Tails and Eggman have their own health system where you collect rings to regain health after getting hits, and even if you have no rings as Tails and Eggman, you should be good if the health bar isn't depleted. If you collect Chao Keys, you unlock the ability to play in the Chao Garden, and to be honest, the Chao Garden is its own thing, so I have now decided to make a separate video about the Chao Garden, maybe next week or sometime in June 2019 to conclude the Sonic Adventure trilogy. You can collect 180 albums through the missions, and each level in the game has missions, such as collecting 100 rings,
a hard version of a level, or through playing the Chow Garden. And then if you get all 180, you will be able to play the 3D version of Green Hill Zone from the first Sonic the Hedgehog.
And now we have the special multiplayer, probably the best multiplayer in the Sonic series or somewhere near the top. Players can play 3 gameplay styles in 2-player modes. They can play go-karting. The go-karting isn't fleshed out fully, but it's still a good 10-15 minutes of fun. The multiplayer includes Tikal and Chaos from the first Sonic adventure as treasure hunting, Amy and Metal Sonic in the 3D platforming section, and Chow and Big in the shooting style are also playable. So Big the Cat is playable, but only in the multiplayer, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why Big the Cat wasn't in the game, but it's unfortunate. The game features boss fights, including the 1v1 fights, and they have been improved. However, they can be completed easily with very recognizable patterns. And I'm talking about the 1v1 specifically, not the actual bosses. The actual bosses are good. Some of the best include Biohazard with Shadow and the boss in the pyramid with Sonic. And in terms of gameplay, all the versions are at 60 FPS and it feels good, smooth, and overall it's a nice experience playing the actual core game that is Sonic Adventure 2. John Su came back to produce the soundtrack of Sonic Adventure 2, this time with a focus of pop rock, with some funk, hip-hop, and orchestra tracks. I liked this production last time, even though I forgot to mention that, but this time I also found with the team behind the music in this game to have produced some of Sonic's best composed tracks. In fact, I have a couple in some of my playlists. I never really listened to game soundtracks in my own time, unless I really enjoy it, so I feel like that should speak for itself. Here are some of my favorite tracks from Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
You know me, the fighting freak Knuckles, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? It's your main man Knuckles.
Sonic Adventure 2's graphics are great for the Dreamcast. I haven't played that many Dreamcast games, but this game looks really nice for 2001. This is still kind of the beginning for mainstream 3D games. Obviously the graphics are better than Sonic Adventure, but they both had nice graphics and aesthetic. The game nowadays looks very 90s, just by the way it carries itself. Sonic is wearing soap shoes, for crying out loud, metaphorically. Nothing wrong with a bit of nostalgia. I might be showing some footage from the original Dreamcast version of Sonic Adventure because I might be feeling nostalgic during editing. Bringing up the 90s or early 2000 thing just to show how the game has aged throughout the years, including the Battle Edition. The Battle Edition was released worldwide in 2002. Think about it. The Dreamcast version was released in 2001 and it's only a 1-year difference, and the GameCube is in the same generation as the Dreamcast, despite the Dreamcast releasing earlier. The GameCube has improved textures and the game doesn't look drastically different in terms of the overall feeling and the world. The digital versions only provided the widescreen to the whole graphic situation, but some cutscenes are not in widescreen, so it really stands out as odd. It was probably a time issue or an oversight just to get the game onto modern platforms. The cutscenes have loud music at times, just like Sonic Adventure, which is something I failed to mention in the first Sonic Adventure review.
What the?
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon.
The hatch doors are
Don't
open.
sweat it, Knuckles.
But it's not cool that I can't hear the dialogue clearly. If the game's music was not good, I think more people would have a problem with this, but luckily the music is top tier. The characters' expressions are also very dated at points, and sometimes characters' dialogue isn't synced with the animations.
Just leave it to me.
This time, I'll take your lives as well as the Chaos Emerald.
But to make the review shorter, I'll blame it on the passing of time. In my point of view, what does Sonic Adventure 2 deserve as a rating? Crash, pass, mad, check, or smash? The mad is an in-between rating, so it's a game I'm half and half on. For Sonic Adventure 2, I'll be giving this game a check. And when I say check, I mean the game is good enough or important enough to check out. The whole exclamation mark at the end of the phrase is now regulated for Smash, and the shocked expression is now regulated for Crash. If you're a Sonic fan, you probably already played this game just like Sonic Adventure. But if you haven't played Sonic Adventure 2, then which side are you on then? The hero side or the dark side? Citations in the description. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Shadow and Rouge, while the latter three collect Sonic Adventure 2, the sequel to the beloved Sonic Adventure and Sonic's final mainline series exclusive. Sonic Adventure 2, the sequel to the beloved Sonic Adventure and Sonic's final mainline series game to be exclusive on the Sega console, developed by the people at Sega. Whoa! What the Sonic Adventure 2, the sequel to the beloved Sonic Adventure and Sonic's final main Ooh, damn it. John Sewell has come back to produce the soundtrack of Sonic Adventure 2, this time with the focus of pop rock. No! John Sewell came back to produce the soundtrack of Sonic Adventure 2, this time with the focus of pop rock with more. John Sewell came back to produce the soundtrack of Sonic Adventure 2, this time with the focus of pop rock with funk. The game nowadays looks very 90s, just by the way it carries itself. Sonic is wearing soap shoes, for crying out loud, metaphorically. Okay, that was a really bad delivery. Sonic is wearing soap, what the? No, just in my point of view, what does Sonic Adventure 2 deserve as a rating? Crash, pass, mad, check, or smash? The mad is an in-between rating, so it's a game I'm half and half on. Wow.